Alright guys, welcome along to the stream. We have the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We've all been waiting for this. Hamilton and Verstappen both on 369.5 points going into the final race of the season. I mean, I just cannot wait for this, and it's just going to be so epic. We have lots to get through today. We've got to talk about how the FIA have said that if you do crash into another driver, we will take points off you. We need to talk about the new curbs because the new curbs, they look pretty lethal, and we have to see what's going to happen to them over there. And then obviously the new tyre pressures that Pirelli have introduced because of the new curbs and the tyres that they're using, in fact. Hello, Kies, Mr. Best, Wade Coppage, and everyone else that is tuning in. And then obviously we have to talk about the results from FP1, FP2, and FP3. It's Kimi Raikkonen's last race and final qualifying session in Formula 1. There's lots of stats to get through as well. Of course, this is the last time we had two drivers tied on points going into the final race of the season, 1974. What a long time ago. I mean, this is going to be one of the most historic races in Formula 1 history, and you guys are here to enjoy it. So grab some popcorn because this qualifying session is going to be very close indeed. And there are also track changes in Abu Dhabi, as you guys know, and there is also track limits that we need to talk about because, of course, if you exceed track limits, then your lap time will be deleted, and that's not going to help. Well, yeah, that's not going to help your hopes for the championship, is it? We've got 100 people tuning in, and I'm actually starting the stream 15 minutes early this today because, well, we've got so much to get through, and the race and qualifying is so crazy. So thank you everyone that is tuning in. Hello, C Paul and Ivan, and also guys, if you the giveaway isn't just one Kimi Raikkonen cap; it's 10 of them, and I've in fact got one. It's this cap here, but it is a really nice cap. So be sure to go ahead and, well, enter the giveaway by following me on Instagram and Twitter. It's F1_gamer_5. But apart from that, we'll get right into what the FIA have said to Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen coming into the final race of the season. They've put in the race director's notes. So this is the document that they send out to all of the teams before the start of the weekend. They send it to all the teams, and then obviously the teams and the drivers have to read it. And in the notes, they specifically pointed out one of the sporting articles, one of the regulations, where they said the FIA stewards are allowed to deduct points from the championship. They're allowed to deduct points from the championship into if someone takes someone else out. And yeah, they're basically just saying, Max and Lewis, don't take each other out, otherwise we're going to take some points off you. We've got all of the mods here: Multi Ninja, Kiez, Ivan. Also, guys, there's a special giveaway for you guys because you are moderators, of course, and you have been helping out in the streams. You guys have a much higher chance of winning a Kimi Raikkonen cap. So, well, yeah, I'll let you know, and I'll contact you guys, whoever does win. But the FIA have said that if there is a collision, or if the FIA are allowed to take off points, and they were just reiterating that to the drivers. Max Verstappen just shrugged it off, and he was just like, oh yeah, well, that was always in the rules and we always knew about that. I don't see why they're pointing it out. They might as well just put it in every single race director notes. And Lewis Hamilton didn't have much to comment on there. So we'll see if there is a collision. If the stewards decide to take points off, it will have to be a very clear collision between Hamilton and Verstappen if they are going to take points off. Otherwise, there would be so much outrage. I mean, these stewards always get loads of crap because everyone's like, oh no, it wasn't a penalty, or no, it was, or it should have been a 10-second penalty, not a stop-go penalty or something like that. So the stewards are going to have to be very careful when they do give out a penalty, and they're also going to have to be very careful because, well, actually, then, yeah, they're going to have to be very careful when they give out a penalty and how many points they take off, because that could have effects on the Constructors' Championship as well. So Mercedes are 28 points ahead of Red Bull this weekend in the Constructors' Championship, and they only need to score 17 more points if they do want to seal the deal and win the Constructors. So 17 points is second place. So if one driver gets second place, then they've already finished off the Constructors' Championship. So that's pretty likely, with Hamilton either going to finish first or second, or Verstappen's going to finish first or second. We'll find out what that is. But getting onto the curbs, so the curbs in Abu Dhabi, they've installed new curbs onto the track. And the thing is that these were the same curbs that they have in Qatar, and the curbs in Qatar, they caused lots of tyre failures. We had George Russell, Pierre Gasly, who else had a tyre failure? Nicholas Latifi had a tyre failure as well. So 3 cars having tyre failures solely because of the curbs makes those curbs very, very dangerous indeed. And you don't want to have a tyre failure going into the final race of the season, especially when it could decide the championship, of course. So what Pirelli didn't even know about the fact that they had new curbs. So Pirelli have picked the softest tyres of the set of the range. They've picked the C5, C4, and C3 tyres. So these are the softest tyres and the most likely to explode if something does go wrong. So we'll see what the drivers decide to do about that. If they decide to completely stay off the curbs during the race, or do they attack the curbs? Because we know last year Mercedes had issues when they were driving over the curbs. The Mercedes power unit, it had lots of issues when driving over the curbs in Austria. So the vibrations from the curbs could cause lots of issues, and it could cause issues for the power unit, for the tires. We'll have to find out what they do. But overnight, what they've done, because the curbs were sort of pyramid shaped, they had like a pointy bit, which was probably the worst part about the curb. They've sort of flattened out the curb now. So instead of it being a pyramid, they've cut the top of the pyramid off to make it a bit more flat. And that means, well, because it's a bit more flat, then it's going to reduce all of the damage that the curbs are causing. And Pirelli, to also compensate for the fact that the curbs have are very dangerous, they've increased the front tyre pressures to 23.5 psi and the rear tyre pressures to 21 psi. But that means we're going to get more and more overtaking because, not overtaking, overheating. Sorry, because the higher the tyre pressures, the more energy that's in the tyres, inside the air, of course, and that always leads to more overheating. And we saw the overheating issues in FP3, and we're going to see them coming through into the rest of the race as well. But in FP1, it was a good run in FP1 for. It was Verstappen. Verstappen was top in FP1 by 0.2 of a second. Bottas was second. Hamilton was third. Hamilton did 25 laps. Verstappen did 23. Not much difference between the two drivers, but the Red Bulls looked stronger in FP1. And then in FP2, Mercedes pulled it right out of the bag. FP2, I do have to point out, because this is a day-night race, the race starts sort of in the day and then ends at the night, so it's a sort of twilight kind of race. FP2 results are the most representative of qualifying in the race, because qualifying is going to happen at the night now. The sunset is about to happen in Abu Dhabi. So the later session, which is FP2, is more representative. And in FP2, we had Lewis Hamilton in first place, and he was 0.6 of a second quicker than Max Verstappen. So very, very crazy lap there from Lewis Hamilton in the correct kind of conditions that they were going to see in qualifying today. But then in FP3, Verstappen brought it back. He was only 0.2 behind Lewis Hamilton. And I was just watching FP3, in fact, and Red Bull, they were running a low downforce rear wing. So the low downforce rear wing means they'll be slower through the corners but quicker down the straights. And Christian Horner said that the only way they can compete with Mercedes is to have a lower downforce, high top speed rear wing. So they're currently trying to fix the DRS issues. If you remember back to Qatar, their DRS flap was flapping around on Sergio Perez's car and Max Verstappen's car. Both of the rear wings are off the car, and they're currently trying to repair them to make sure they don't flap around, because that could lead to disqualification going into this race, which is exactly what they would not want. And then in FP3, we also saw Verstappen having quite a lot of issues with understeer. And now, because FP2, oh no, FP3, sorry, well, in both FP2 and 3, Verstappen was having issues with understeer, but looks like Red Bull have decided to increase the front downforce a bit and reduce some of that understeer, and we'll see if that pays off going into qualifying now. We have 20 minutes till we go into qualifying, and lots to look forward to. Right then. So let's just read the chat one sec. Yeah, Kimi Raikkonen will probably be doing a lap of honor at the end of this race, or he might just yeah, Kimi Raikkonen might do a lap of honor, or he might just stop the car, just get out and go straight to his yacht. Because that is a very Kimi Raikkonen thing to do, if we're being completely honest. But looking at the data from the Friday practice session, we've seen that the Mercedes are quicker in the low fuel runs. Red Bull have the slight edge in race pace trim, and then in the slow speed corners, Red Bull are around about half a tenth slower. On the medium speeds, they're basically identical, and then down the straights, Red Bull lose about a tenth going down the straights compared to Mercedes. The top speed difference between the two drivers, we have Verstappen on 322 kilometers an hour, which is around about 200 miles an hour. And then we have Lewis Hamilton, who is on 330 kilometers an hour. He got a bit of a toe on that lap, but nevertheless, he was slightly quicker than Verstappen going down the straight, and a lot better acceleration as well. We've had track changes at this circuit as well. So if you guys didn't know, I'm just going to summarize what happened here. This corner here, so at the end of Sector 1, we used to have a chicane and then this hairpin, but they've just got rid of the chicane and we go straight into the hairpin. And then the next Sector 2 is exactly the same as it was. And then Sector 3, we had a triple chicane here. So then it was a left and then a right and then a left. And they've just got rid of that completely. And we went straight into a long banked corner. And the long bank corner, of course, is more suited for the Mercedes. The slow corners were where the Red Bulls excelled. And this year, those slow corners have been taken out. So we'll have to wait and see which team is quickest going into qualifying. But in terms of what we've seen in practice, we've seen that the Mercedes are quicker in the low run pace. Yeah, on paper, Red Bull does look off worse, but yeah, that is true. They could pull off a miracle, because if you think about it, in Saudi Arabia, Red Bull were not looking as quick as Mercedes whatsoever, but then all the way up until the final run of Q3, Red Bull was slower, but then Max Verstappen, two purple sectors. Unfortunately, he did crash on the final corner of the lap, but two purple sectors from Max Verstappen. He just pulled that right out of the bag. There was no indication that Red Bull were going to be that quick, but Verstappen put in a mega lap, so we could definitely see Verstappen do that again. Another thing to talk about is the fact that, of course, Bottas and Perez really are not in the fight for the in the championship, of course, the Drivers' Championship. So we may see Red Bull completely sacrifice Sergio Perez and just give Verstappen a toe. So what they might do in the first run of Q3, or the second run of Q3, in fact, what they might do is send Perez out like 2 minutes before Verstappen. Perez will set his lap, and then when he's on his cooldown lap and Verstappen is behind him, he can give Verstappen a massive toe going down the first straight. And the first straight is 1.1 kilometers long. It's the second longest straight on the entire F1 calendar. Only second to the straight in China, the back straight in China, that was 1,170 meters long. The straight here is 1,140 meters long, so practically the same. Only 30 meters difference between the two straights, but one of the longest straights on the entire calendar. And well, a toe is definitely going to help you coming down here. So we may see Red Bull completely sacrifice Perez, and we might see Mercedes do the same thing for Valtteri Bottas, because these guys really aren't in the battle for the constructors, and we've not in the battle for the drivers, sorry. And we've seen Christian Horner on a previous interview. He said, we would rather just give up the constructors' championship and take the drivers' championship rather than giving up the drivers and taking the constructors. And considering Red Bull are 28 points behind Mercedes already, Perez, the chances of Red Bull winning the constructors are pretty slim. So Red Bull might just be like, all right, we're just not going to win the constructors, and we'll go full send for the drivers, and we'll tell Perez to give Verstappen a massive tow going down the straight. And that'll be interesting if that pays off or if it doesn't. And yeah, I mean, a tow is going to be very, very, very strong indeed. And we'll find out what happens then. All right. Yeah, I was on 1.9k subs, so close to 20, 25. Well, we're actually just hit 20, but if you guys haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. If we could hit 25k subs this weekend, that would be a record-breaking weekend for me. And I mean, this is going to be a record-breaking race this weekend because, well, the last time this happened, 1974, two drivers tied on points going to the final race of the season. So if you haven't hit the like button and if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so, as it would very much help out. But back to qualifying, it is Kimi Raikkonen's final race of the season and final qualifying session of his entire career. He's had 349, well, he's had 348 race starts, and if he starts tomorrow, he'll have 349. But he has had 21 wins in his career and more than 18,500 laps. So the most experienced F1 driver on the grid and the second oldest race winner as well. It'll be very, very sad to see him go. And to celebrate Kimi Raikkonen running a giveaway. If you haven't heard about it, then it is in the description. You got to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and then every like and every retweet counts as an entry into the poll. Not into the poll, the giveaway. Sorry. And I'm giving away 10 of these Kimi Raikkonen caps. And if you do want to buy any Alfa Romeo merch, then there is a link in the description, or it is code0racing.com. It's just the 2021 merch from Alfa Romeo, and they do have a special limited edition Kimi Raikkonen shirt that is on sale right now. So be sure to go check that out. And in fact, I have been sponsored by Alfa Romeo, but they have sent me the stuff, and it is very, very nice quality indeed. So yeah, I'm sponsored by Alfa Romeo Racing. I did not expect to be saying that at the start of this season. I was on 1,000 subs, and now I'm sponsored by Alfa Romeo. Absolutely crazy. But 12 minutes till Q1 begins now. There is quite a lot of stats to go through. So as Lewis Hamilton has raced in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix 12 times. Every single time we have been on, every single time we've raced at Abu Dhabi, Lewis Hamilton has also raced here. He's raced here 12 times. He has 5 wins, 5 pole positions, and 2 DNFs. So, it's looking pretty good for Lewis Hamilton. He's got a win in 2011, 2014, 2018. Oh wait, where did I think I missed one. Well, yeah. Oh, it was 2011, 2014, 2016, 2018, and 2019. So lots of wins and poles for Lewis Hamilton at this circuit. And every time Lewis Hamilton has been on pole at this circuit, he has gone on to win the race. So that's looking, well, Verstappen will have to either break that record or just make sure Lewis Hamilton doesn't get pole position. Max Verstappen has got 1 win and 1 pole position, which he both got last time here in 2020 at Abu Dhabi. Max Verstappen got pole position and the race win last year. So we'll see if he can continue that form that he has had at this circuit. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see. In the previous 4 years, the gap between first position and second position in qualifying has been less than 1.5 tenths. So that's just in the previous years, and I expect this year to be even closer. So 1.5 tenths was the average for the last 4 years, and it's probably going to be less than a tenth between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. And now you've got to think about it, right? We've started the season, both drivers on 0 points. 21 races later, all of the chaos that has happened throughout the entire season. Bahrain, we had track limits. Imola, Hamilton spun off onto the gravel. What other races? We obviously had Silverstone, and then we had Monza, and then we had Saudi Arabia, we had Russia. There was so much action that has gone on in the previous 21 races. The drivers started on 0 points, and coming into the final race of the season, they are both on 369.5 points. They are tied on points. The championship and the season cannot get any closer between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. And this is why I'm expecting a very, very close qualifying session between these two drivers. Red Bull looks slower in terms of pace. We know Verstappen can pull something right out of the bag. And then we know Mercedes, they do have a slightly quicker car in terms of qualifying at least. And the simulations yesterday, they showed around about a 1/10 advantage that Mercedes had in Quali, but we know Verstappen can close that up. And in terms of race pace, we had already seen that Red Bull were actually quicker. So pretty crazy, and we'll find out what happens going into qualifying now. Only 9 minutes till Q1 begins. So if you have not hit the like button, be sure to do so. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that as well. All right. Yeah, I mean, wow, so much going on. And the top speeds going down the straight, pretty similar between the two drivers. It doesn't look like Hamilton has a massive top speed advantage going down the straights. Both Hamilton and Verstappen hitting approximately 200 miles an hour, 320 kilometers an hour. And Hamilton having 3 or 4 miles per hour quicker than Verstappen, but not much. And it's not going to be anything crazy indeed. All right. And also, we have been talking a lot about Verstappen and Hamilton, but just further down the field, there is literally nothing separating McLaren and Ferrari. They're both very, very closely locked in battle. Looks like Ferrari does have the 40-point or so advantage in the Constructors' Championship, so it doesn't look like McLaren will be getting third this time round, but nevertheless, we're expecting very good battles from them. And last week, we had saw that when the AlphaTauris are quick at a circuit, we know the Red Bulls will also be quick at the circuit. And same thing happening here. AlphaTauri 6th and 7th in terms of FP3. So we're expecting that the Red Bulls will be quick and they can pull something out of the bag. And just an update on Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez's rear wing. They've reattached it back to the car and now they're just taping it on. They're adding some extra tape to the car to reduce any drag penalty that they do get. There's tiny little bumps in the rear wing, and that can increase drag. So Red Bull adding tapes all over the rear wing now to reduce the drag and to go for pole position. All right. Oh yeah, that is Alex France. That is also another good stat. So over the course of the season, if you add up the gaps between Verstappen and Hamilton, so the gaps in terms of race pace, in terms of the race, so if Hamilton finishes 5 seconds ahead in one race and Verstappen finishes 10 seconds ahead in the other, it's 5-second advantage to Verstappen, right? If you add up all of the races where both drivers have finished, they would have driven between London and New York, so across the entire Atlantic Ocean, and there'd only be 9 seconds apart. 9 seconds across the entire season. We've been racing over 5,000 kilometers, and these drivers are 9 seconds apart. Absolutely insane. And yeah, here we go now. 6 minutes left till Q1 begins, till the decider in the desert. Abu Dhabi, of course, in the desert, track temperatures now have fell from 36 degrees to 30 degrees. I'm just going to update that. But expect the track temperatures falling, and there's another thing to watch out for. If you do push too hard in the first sector, there's a good chance your tires will overheat by the time you get to the third sector. So that's something to watch out for. If we see a driver setting purple first and second sectors, that could mean that they've pushed really hard in the first two sectors, but their tires are going to overheat by the third sector, and then that will completely screw up their lap. So I'll have to wait and see if that happens, and if drivers decide to back off a little bit and only get a green first sector, and then when it go on to set purple second and third sectors. And track limits are being monitored at turn number, let's see, which turns are they? I've written this down somewhere. Oh, at turn number 7, which is the chicane. So turn number 7 chicane over here, that is track limits are being monitored there. This right-hander is track limits are being monitored over here. And then turn number 16, the final corner of the lap, track limits are also being monitored at there. Track limits are once again at the white line. They're not on the curb, just the white line of the circuit is track limits. And now going into qualifying around this 3.3 mile long circuit now. 4 minutes 30 seconds till the green light is out and Q1 will be underway. Another thing to watch out for is the drivers may choose to go for a qualifying setup, or they may choose to go for a race setup. So we saw this last weekend around AlphaTauris. They were very quick in qualifying. They were, I think, Pierre Gasly started the race on the front row of the grid. He started in second place, really. So AlphaTauri went maximum attack in qualifying, put on a qualifying setup, but then when going into the race, they didn't have enough downforce and their tyres wore out too quickly and they dropped further down back. So we could see maybe Mercedes going for a qualifying setup, and then they will be quicker in quali, but then in the race they'll be slower. Or we could see it the other way around. Red Bull go for the quali setup, get ahead of Mercedes, and then in the race they struggle to manage their tyres. But we'll have to wait and see. Q1 will be underway in 3 minutes' time, and then cannot wait to see what will happen. Right, who do you think will win the championship? Well, I'm not going to tell you who I think, because really, to be honest, I have no idea who's going to win. But I do know, so all of the drivers have been asked this in the press conference, so I'm just going to let you know which driver has picked which thing. So we have Tsunoda, who has said Max is going to win. Russell thinks Lewis is going to win. Vettel, when asked, he was like, oh, Max is going to win or Lewis is going to win. So a great answer there from Seb Vettel. Alonso said Max would win. Ocon said Lewis would win. Perez said Max would win. Bottas said Lewis would win. And Gasly said Max would win. So very much split between the two drivers, and we'll find out what happens. But welcome along to the final qualifying session of 2021 in Abu Dhabi. $1.3 billion was spent to develop this circuit in the Yas Island in Abu Dhabi. And we have 16 corners, a 3.3 mile circuit, 5.3 kilometers, and lots of exciting overtaking opportunities. The chicane in the first sector has been removed, and now we go straight into a hairpin, and then the triple chicane at the end of this, in the middle of the second sector, has also been removed. So now we have a long banked turn number 9, which is going to help with the overtaking. Turns number 12, 13, 14, all of their radius have been increased, so they are faster speed corners now going through the lap. This is going to help overtaking and reduce tire overheating issues that we were having on the previous occasions in Abu Dhabi. And now it's 1 minute and 53 seconds till the lights go green, and this is it now. I'm going to put a poll up, and you guys can vote who you think is going to get pole position, because we have a poll for pole position now. That is great, isn't it? We have Verstappen and Hamilton, and I really don't think anyone else is in the running for this pole position. We have the softest tyres that Pirelli have available to offer. We have the C5, C4, and C3. The softs are the C5s, of course, the medium C4s, and then the hards are C3s. And we have very little wind, only 4.3 kilometers an hour, and then we have a tailwind going into the turn 5 hairpin, which won't be ideal for the drivers. And for the rest of the lap, it won't really affect them too much. But track temperatures have fell to 30 degrees. This is going to help the drivers less and less oversteer as we progress into the sessions, with track temperature falling and the sun setting. But 46 seconds till the lights go green. And let's go then. All right. This has been the best F1 season for a long time. And just a quick update in FP3, it looks like they replaced or changed Lewis Hamilton's brake discs or something. They were having some issues there at the Mercedes garage, so they changed something on Lewis Hamilton's brake disc, but it looks to be fine. They came out in FP3 and everything was all right. And they've also replaced the exhaust system, so just a tiny little bit of extra horsepower there for Lewis Hamilton with a new exhaust. But here we go now. The green light will fall in 3, 2, 1. And here we go. We go into the final Q1 session of the season. Yeah, season. Verstappen and Hamilton will... Well, actually, this is a pretty interesting thing here. So Red Bull, they think they're going to be slower than Mercedes in the race. So they might go into Q2 on a different set of tyres. Q2, they might use the soft tyres instead of the mediums, because that might be net overall faster for that for the race, because we are expecting a two-stop strategy, and we're going to have some mad 4D chess going on between Red Bull and Mercedes to try and get their drivers ahead, of course. We'll find out what happens, but drivers currently out on track now: Verstappen, Perez, Tsunoda, Gasly, Leclerc, Stroll, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Vettel, Schumacher, and Mazepin. Also, guys, I just want to let you know I have a video coming out tomorrow. It's going to come out before the start of the race. It's going to come out like 2 or 3 hours before the start of the race. It's going to premiere, so you can watch it live with everyone. And it's a story of the entire 2021 championship, all the way from pre-season testing to this qualifying session in Abu Dhabi. So be sure to tune into that just to hype yourself up for the final race. So I will release that when the time is right. It'll be 3 hours or so before the start of the race, and then you can pop onto my live stream once that is over. But out on track now, we have Verstappen and Vettel all starting their laps, and we'll wait and see who can come out on top in this Q1 session and who will be eliminated. Hopefully, we get Kimi Raikkonen and Antonio Giovinazzi getting out of Q1. It would be very sad to see Kimi Raikkonen's qualifying session come to an end in Q1, especially his final one. But out on track, we now have Sergio Perez, who has started his flying lap. He is currently, his first sector time is a 17.1. Not ridiculously fast, not ridiculously slow. We'll wait and see what everyone else can do. Next up is Sebastian Vettel across the first sector. His first sector, 0.3 slower than Sergio Perez's. We'll wait and see where he goes, and hopefully he'll have a better 2022 season. On the medium tyres, we have both Ferraris. Ferrari's doing the unusual strategy using medium tyres in Q1 when they have no strategic advantage to them, but we'll wait and see if that pays off for them and if they can actually make it through, because it might be a bit tight considering the medium tyres are around about 4 to 6 tenths slower than the softs. So Ferrari will have to have that advantage if they do want to make it through into Q2. Fastest first sector from Max Verstappen, a tenth quicker than his teammate. Perez sets the fastest middle sector. We'll see if anyone else can beat that. Verstappen now just coming through the start-finish straight. The second back straight of the track. And we'll find out what happens there. All right. Hamilton, Bottas, Norris, Ricciardo, Ocon, Alonso, Russell, and Latifi. All six Mercedes powers cars, in fact, all of them are sat in the garage. Very, very interesting there. And the Alpines as well. Quickest middle sector from Pierre Gasly. Gasly is a quicker middle sector than Max Verstappen. That suggests to me Verstappen is not pushing as hard in the middle sector because he does not want to get overheating in the third sector. Perez sets the fastest third sector. He, in fact, goes slower than Tsunoda. What a lap from Tsunoda, in fact. He's only 3 tenths behind Max Verstappen, and he's slow. And Tsunoda's quicker than Sergio Perez and Leclerc. So Tsunoda setting a mega lap time. Pierre Gasly going quicker than Tsunoda. So it's a Red Bull it's a Honda 1, 2, 3, 4. Verstappen first, Gasly second, Tsunoda third, Perez fourth. We all thought Mercedes were quick on low fuel, even though I've written it there, Mercedes fast in low fuel, and we've got a Honda 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I think they've turned non-VTEC, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Hamilton and Bottas are now out on track. They're warming up their tyres to go on their flying lap. We'll wait and see what happens there. But Verstappen quicker than Pierre Gasly by 0.3 of a second, 1 minute 23.6. That's 4 tenths quicker than Hamilton went in FP3. And that's exactly what Bottas's engineer said. Bottas's engineer said FP3 will be 4 tenths slower than it was in FP2 and in qualifying. So track conditions, Max Verstappen has taken full advantage, gone 3 seconds quicker than his gone half a second quicker than his teammate, and 3 seconds quicker, 3 tenths quicker than second place. But here we go. Also, just like to point something out, guys. Max Verstappen is number 33, and Lewis Hamilton is number 44, and Sergio Perez is number 11. So if we have Lewis Hamilton, number 44, and we take Sergio Perez out, so we do 44 minus 11, and we get 33. So is that confirmed that Lewis Hamilton is going to get taken out by Sergio Perez? Literally, I am so, like, those mathematical skills are so crazy. Back to qualifying though, 12 minutes and 20 seconds left of the session. Hamilton and Bottas now starting their flying laps, and we'll see what they can do there. It was a green first sector from Hamilton, but a purple middle sector. He goes 2 tenths quicker than Gasly as well in the middle sector. So Hamilton got some solid pace going down that straight. Middle sector is basically a hairpin straight, chicane straight. So Hamilton going very quick. We'll check his top speeds, in fact, this session, and we'll see if there is something that we cannot. Oh no, average top speeds, similar top speeds to Verstappen, in fact. So Hamilton now crosses the line. He goes quicker than Verstappen by 4 tenths of a second. We were thinking here that Hamilton was going to be so slow, but he goes 4 tenths of a second quicker than Verstappen, and Bottas is in second place, only a tenth behind his teammate. So Mercedes have went up to maximum attack, and look at this lap time that they've got right here. Verstappen in third, Hamilton and Bottas first and second place. It's a 1-2 for Mercedes in qualifying. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here, because it is just 1-2. The final runs of Q3 do decide the starting grid, not qualifying one. And the drivers still yet to set a lap. Norris and Ricciardo, they're all coming. Norris and Ricciardo coming through the final 2 corners now. Norris's lap time is a 1 minute 23.8 from Lando Norris. So he puts himself up into 4th place, and then Daniel Ricciardo in a 124.15. So after everyone has set 1 lap time in Q1, our elimination zone currently is Stroll, Vettel, Latifi, Schumacher, and Mazepin. So just the usual suspects, really, except, I mean, last week we had Aston Martin, both Aston Martins getting eliminated from Q2, and that was the first time ever that they'd both been eliminated from Q2 in the entire season. So 2 races running now, they might get eliminated from Q3, both drivers. But looking at the gaps between Hamilton and Verstappen, in the first sector, Hamilton is marginally up on Verstappen. In the second sector, Verstappen is 3 tenths slower. Oh no, 2 tenths slower, sorry. And in the third sector, once again, 2 tenths slower. So similar pace in the first sector, but Verstappen dropping off in the second and third sectors by 2 tenths each. Yeah. All right. Also, guys, we have 2,400 people watching. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. And if you haven't subscribed, that would be, if you do, that would be absolutely lovely. But 9 minutes and 40 seconds remain of this qualifying session. We have currently Hamilton and Bottas in first place, followed by Verstappen and Norris in third and fourth. Solid lap from Fernando Alonso up into fifth. His teammate is back in 11th place. So Alonso putting an amazing lap there to outdrive that Alpine, really, because Ocon is all the way down in 11th place, and he's 4 tenths behind Fernando Alonso. So pretty big gap there between Alonso and his teammate. We'll wait and see what happens there. Okay, Perez has just set a quicker lap time than Max Verstappen. Now, that tells me that there's track evolution going on here, because there is not... because Perez does not set a lap time quicker than Max Verstappen very often. So if I'm going to be completely honest with you, there is track evolution going on, and the Red Bulls were the first to set their lap times, or one of the first teams to set their lap times, and Mercedes were one of the slower teams. And in fact, the gap between Verstappen and Hamilton has just dropped now. Verstappen is only half a tenth away from Lewis Hamilton. And this is exactly what we predicted, really. These two drivers have been completely inseparable. Is that even a word? Inseparable for the entire season. And here they are once again, half a tenth apart in the first runs of Q1. We'll find out what happens in Q2 and Q3. But track evolution coming, is very, very strong here. And that's going to be important to watch out. If the drivers go out in right at the end of Q3 and they'll be last across the line, that could give them better track conditions and quicker lap times overall. So that'll be something to see, and who will actually come out on top. But the reason track evolution is so strong is because the track temperatures are falling. Of course, it's a sunset twilight race now. The sun is setting in Abu Dhabi, and the quicker and the lower the sun gets, the lower the track temperature, and the lower the track temperature, the less overheating the drivers get, and that means less overheating. That means they can push even more, and that's why track temperatures and lap times are falling. And track evolution is as strong as ever. But 7 minutes left of this session. Kimi Raikkonen down into 17th place now. Stroll promoted himself up into 13th, and so did. And then George Russell put himself up into 14th. In fact, the top speeds are quite a bit slower than what we had seen in qualifying, in FP3, sorry. So most teams around about the 320 kilometer an hour mark, but Verstappen and Russell both on 325 kilometers an hour. So slight advantage there from Verstappen and Russell, and I'll be expecting very, very soon that we get Hamilton and Bottas Hamilton and Verstappen being towed by their teammates, because this is a championship on the line, and we'll wait and see what happens. All right, indistinguishable. That's the right word. Yeah, all right, cool. But we have a red flag. All right, red flag is out on track. Who's crashed? Let me just change that. Where's it gone? Red flag. There we go. Red flag out on track. Who has binned it? Let's see. No idea who's binned it. Everyone is still moving on the track, so I don't know why we have a red flag. I'll let you know. Gasly has had his lap time deleted, so that was why he was up in like 4th, 5th place, but he got his lap time deleted down into 10th. But who has crashed? Let's see. I don't know why. There is a bollard that's rolling around on track, so I don't think they call a red flag for a bollard on track. But yeah. Is it Mazepin? Well, Mazepin's in the pits, so if Mazepin caused a red flag while being in the pits, that would be pretty crazy. But the bollard is just rolling around, and I'll find out in 20 seconds or so why we have a red flag. But yeah, because my stream is delayed a bit, so that's why I can't tell you just yet why we have a red flag, but. Oh yeah, we have a red flag just because of the bollard, guys. Bollard has a red flag. The bollard has literally caused a red flag. I have no idea why they've called a red flag for that. But yeah, pretty odd. Pretty odd, to be completely honest with you. There's just one singular bollard on track. I'll try and get an image for you, but it's just because that one of the Haas cars, I think it was, I'm not sure which Haas car it was, but they hit the bollard on the entry into the final corner. Schumacher and Norris hit it, and they've put it into a dangerous position. So they have stopped the session, and that is why we have a red flag. All right, I'll try and get an image, but yeah, Norris sort of sent it rolling down the track. It was Schumacher that hit it, and then it's Norris that hit it once again after it was on the track. So we have a red flag now because of that. But sparks are flying in Abu Dhabi. I mean, just look at this. Verstappen on the limit. I mean, these curbs usually don't spark up that much, but when the Red Bull's ride height is so low that they're getting this many sparks, we know Red Bull and Mercedes are pushing to the absolute limit. and we'll wait and see what happens there. But looking at corner analysis from AWS, turn number one, Hamilton is nearly a tenth up just in turn number one alone, because of the simple fact that he is just picking up the throttle slightly. Oh no, he's picking up the throttle slightly later than Verstappen, but he's carrying more speed through the corner. Session restarting now, in fact. So the session has restarted. The red flag has been called off. We're back to green flag running, but yeah, there we go. So they just called the red flag to clear up the track. I don't think you can actually call a virtual safety car under qualifying conditions, but if they could, then that's what they probably should have done. Yeah, the bollard has got a 10-second time penalty. I can confirm. 10-second time penalty, and it's probably going to be disqualified for tomorrow's race, if I'm going to be honest with you. So, yeah. Right, so the drivers that are out on track now are four Ferrari-powered cars, the two Ferraris themselves, and then the two Alfa Romeos. Both Alfa Romeo drivers, in fact, this will be their final qualifying sessions for Alfa Romeo. Well, it could not, maybe for Antonio Giovinazzi, maybe not, but final qualifying sessions for the foreseeable future for these two drivers. And yeah, very sad to see. But I do want to let you know that there is a giveaway that is running for Kimi Raikkonen. It's this cap that we're giving away 10 of. So go follow me on Instagram and Twitter and join the Discord. And all of those count as an entry. And if you want extra entries so you have a higher chance of winning the giveaway, then be sure to hit to like all of my Instagram posts and then to retweet my tweets on Twitter. But the Alfa Romeo merch themselves is absolutely great. It's code0racing.com. And yeah, it's very nice quality indeed. So be sure to go check that out. There's a special Kimi Raikkonen limited edition shirt that's out on sale now. So have a look at that. But back to now qualifying, we have Leclerc and Sainz and Giovinazzi all on flying laps. So Sainz's first flying lap, he's 0.2 slower than Verstappen, and he's basically matching Daniel Ricciardo, but he's not matching Lando Norris. Norris is quicker through the first sector, and we'll find out. We'll find out if the Ferraris can maintain that pace through the second and third sectors, because the tyres do overheat around this circuit. The overheating issues will be getting less and less obvious coming into later into the session. So here we go then. Sainz's middle sector is once again green, and so is Leclerc's. And these are on used medium tyres. Would just like to point that out. Used set of medium tyres that has caused, that Leclerc and Sainz are setting green lap times on. Seb Vettel has just been blocked by one of the Alpines coming into qualifying. So he got his lap completely ruined by one of the Alpines. I think it might have been, I'm not sure which Alpine it was, but the Alpines have put L plan on their rear wing, which is very, very funny indeed. I mean, what a rear wing that they have. And they've just embraced the Fernando Alonso L plan meme and just put it on their rear wing. Props to Alpine for doing that, but not props to Alpine for not telling that Sebastian Vettel was behind them on track. So Vettel got his lap ruined. He was on for a very good lap indeed, but he's currently now in 16th place on the cusp of getting eliminated. So we'll wait and see what happens there. But 2 minutes left of this session. We have three of the top two teams' drivers out. Verstappen is still in the pits, but we have Hamilton, Bottas, and Norris. Hamilton, Bottas, and Perez out on track alongside Leclerc, Tsunoda, and the rest of the field except for Russell, in fact. So Russell not out on track yet. Bit odd, really, considering George Russell. He's just come out on track, come out the pit lane as I speak. So whoopsie daisies. But the bollard was just rolling around on track. So that's why we had to call a red flag. So there we go. But We'll find out what happens. Is there a chance that McLaren can overtake Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship? I don't think so. They're 40 points or so behind on McLaren. So Ferrari have a 40-point advantage. And scoring 40 points while Ferrari scores 0 is pretty unlikely. I mean, McLaren would probably have to get a 1-2 and Ferrari would have to DNF. So I don't think that McLaren can overtake Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship. But nevertheless, it is the final race of the season and you do want to push. All right. So here we go then. Hamilton has started a flying lap. Purple first sector, purple second sector, and now coming through the final sector, we have only potential traffic that he has up ahead of him is Seb Vettel, but looks like Vettel's going to get out the way. The second to last corner is basically flat, and then the final corner, just a tad bit of braking. Track limits on the exit, can't go wider than the white line. He crosses the line now to extend his advantage at the front by now half a second. So the gap previously between Hamilton and Verstappen was 0.4 of a second. Verstappen brought it down to 0.5 of a second, and now it's half a second. So, amazing lap there from Lewis Hamilton, but the track limits is coming to help him out. I mean, not track limits, sorry. Track evolution is coming to help him out. Cooler track temperatures will obviously help with lap times. So Hamilton and Bottas now 1-2 once again. We have a AlphaTauri 4-5. Verstappen is in third. He's not taking part in this qualifying session. Perez has just put a lap time just behind Verstappen now. So Perez not improving by much on his lap. Oh no, he improved by 0.2, sorry. But he did not get ahead of Max Verstappen. That's what we usually expect between the 1 and 2 drivers at Red Bull and Mercedes. So Mercedes do have the early advantage. We haven't seen Verstappen be in first place after Mercedes have set their lap times in Q1, but we know Verstappen can pull something out of the bag, and we'll just have to wait and see. And looking at the top speed data, once again, Mercedes 320 kilometers an hour going down the straights, and Red Bull are around about the same, so no massive top speed advantage the Mercedes do have. Kimi Raikkonen, though, in 18th place, and he has been eliminated from the session. So, can we get... Actually, yeah, Kimi Raikkonen eliminated from the session in his final qualifying session of Formula 1. 18th place for him. He is 0.4 from the cutoff. Sebastian Vettel just puts himself up into 15th place. Next across the line is Giovinazzi. He's in 14th, very, very close to getting eliminated. Next is Mick Schumacher. He does not improve in his first or second sector. He backed out of that lap. Next is Mazepin. He also backed out of the lap. And then everyone else is not going to improve. So that is it. Q1 is over. We have Latifi, Russell, Raikkonen, Schumacher, and Mazepin that have been eliminated. Yeah. I mean, it's the usual people that do get eliminated, but sad to see Kimi Raikkonen getting eliminated. But you know, it is what it is, and we'll see if Kimi Raikkonen can pull off something in the race. Starting from 18th place, we'll have to see. All right. Also, just a little fun fact about Kimi Raikkonen. Because Kimi Raikkonen was such a big hit in Formula 1, and he did win the championship in 2007, in the following year, Kimi Raikkonen got a post stamp. So in Finland, there was a post stamp of Kimi Raikkonen. So yeah, just a little fun fact. So you could have posted a letter and it would arrive with a post stamp of Kimi Raikkonen's face. But he is out of this session in Q1, sorry, and he will not progress through into Q2. And that has been it. So both Mick Schumacher and Mazepin out of Q1 as well. The Haas team, they haven't developed their car whatsoever this entire season, sorry. They've been putting all of their development into 2022. So hopefully this pays off and we can see a competitive Haas car. Hopefully it pays off and we see all of the cars being completely competitive. So Yeah, that'd be lovely to see all of the cars be competitive. We'll have 10 drivers going for the championship in the final race of the season. Now that is what you would call a crazy race. I mean, yeah, 10 drivers. I need like some live statistic to find out who's actually leading the championship. But Sonoda and Gasly in fifth and seventh. So AlphaTauri looking strong, and this is exactly what we were seeing last weekend round in Saudi Arabia. AlphaTauri is looking strong, and then Red Bull being able to pull out a lap out of nowhere. Hopefully, we can see this once. Hopefully, we can see that once again from Verstappen. He can pull out a lap and maybe get a lot closer to Lewis Hamilton than he currently is, because currently the gap is half a second. Yeah, not ideal really, but obviously Verstappen didn't set a third lap in Q2, whereas Bottas, Hamilton, and Perez did. All right, if you haven't subscribed, guys, be sure to do so. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do that. We've got 3,000 people watching, but only 300 likes. And if we could hit 21k subs, 25k would be record breaking, but if we could hit 21k subs this weekend, that'd be absolutely lovely. Qualifying will be done in approximately half an hour, 35 minutes or so, if there aren't any red flags. But we have Q2 and Q3 left to go. 15 minutes for Q2 and 12 minutes for Q3. 5 more drivers will be eliminated in qualifying 2, and then in Q3 we'll have the top 10 shootout for pole position. Right. F1 is going to be hot without the Iceman, yeah. This is Formula One. Anything could happen. And yeah, we'll have to find out what happens though. Yeah. And Red Bull seem to have fixed their DRS issues. They had DRS issues in FP3, I think, and they also had some issues before qualifying, but they fixed that. Max Verstappen's DRS is functioning totally normally. And yeah, there we go. Yo, who is this Velocity person? I don't actually remember making Velocity a moderator. You might have changed your name on YouTube, but yeah, there we go. But the Bollard is kind of a pole, yeah. Also, if Max Verstappen gets a podium this weekend, he will break the record for most podiums in a Formula One season ever. He's currently on 17 podiums. Schumacher, Hamilton, and Vettel all have that record. Oh, it's Rickus. Okay, cool. I'll remember that. Yeah, so what was I saying? Podiums, yeah. So 17 podiums currently. Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton and Schumacher and Vettel all hold the record for the most amount of podiums in a season. But if Verstappen does go and get a podium next weekend, this weekend, sorry, then he will have the record for most podiums in an F1 season, and that'll be pretty crazy. And currently, from the Sky Sports poll, we have 65% think Lewis Hamilton's going to get pole, 32% think Max Verstappen's going to get pole, and 3% think that someone else is going to get pole. But the poll that we have running on our YouTube channel, once again, the drivers are indistinguishable. We have Max Verstappen on 51% and Lewis Hamilton on 49%. So close indeed. And Palm2112 has asked, am I sponsored by Red Bull Racing? No, but I am sponsored by Alfa Romeo. So go ahead and check out their merch, Code Racing. Code0racing.com. And yeah, go ahead and check that out. Oh, that was a very nice segue indeed. You just have to admit, guys. And now, yeah, Perez and Bottas both must execute their jobs, giving both drivers a tow going down the straights. And we will definitely see. I mean, Red Bull kind of had the advantage in this position here. Q2 has just begun. Just want to point that out. Gasly and Tsunoda and Perez all coming out on track. But because the Constructors' Championship is more in Mercedes' favour, it's Mercedes' to lose, really. So Mercedes can't sort of risk giving Bottas no tow and giving Hamilton all the tow. So it's advantage Red Bull in terms of giving their drivers toes, because Red Bull have nothing to lose. They're probably not going to win the constructor, so they might as well go full stamp, full send, and just give Verstappen a toe and just drop Perez and let him start in like fourth place or something. Yeah, all right. Can we get a leave me alone for the Alfa Romeo? Yeah, just leave me. Oh, what is it? What's the line? Just leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. But there we go. Yes, I'm really sponsored by Alfa Romeo. It's only this one stream that I'm sponsored, but nevertheless, yeah. Q2 has begun, and we have Hamilton, Bottas, Perez, Verstappen, Gasly, Tsunoda, Stroll, and Norris out on track. All right. Right, I'm just having a drink because my throat is going to start to hurt, because I'm going to start screaming in a bit, because these lap times, they're going to start falling quick. We have Hamilton, Bottas, Perez, Verstappen, all out on track now. Then we have Gasly and Stroll all starting their flying laps. We'll see everyone's first sector as they do come through. The first sector is basically just one corner, if we're being honest, because turn 2, 3, they're just completely flat out. Turn 2, 3, 4. So the only corner you have in turn 1 is just turn number 1, and then the rest of the corners basically aren't corners. And we'll see then. So Hamilton's first sector, 16.9. Bottas is 17.0, Perez 17.0, Verstappen 16.9. So both drivers, both number 1 drivers 16.9 first sectors, both number 2 drivers 17.0 first sectors, Tsunoda 17.0, and so is Pierre Gasly. So AlphaTauri is looking absolutely rapid through the first sector. We'll see if that pace does fall off towards the end of the lap. Lewis Hamilton, before he started his flying lap, got info from his race engineer that he needs to do more tyre warm-up compared to before, and he has done exactly that with this purple middle sector as well. So Hamilton prepared his tyres for this flying lap, and it's a solid lap indeed so far. Coming through now into the second to last corner, the corner is now completely flat, and then the final corner, a little bit of a break, drop it down into fourth gear and come to the finish line, and Hamilton has set a lap time of 1 minute 23.1, 9/10 quicker than his FP3 time. What a lap. Bottas goes half a tenth behind him. Perez crosses the line. He goes half a second behind Hamilton. Verstappen now crosses the line. He goes 4 milliseconds. 4 milliseconds between the two drivers. Oh my god. This is insane. Yeah, guys, they are actually indistinguishable, or inseparable, or whatever word you want to use, because 4 milliseconds between the two drivers, and it's only Q2. This is only going to get even closer going into Q3. Verstappen did get a toe off Sergio Perez, like a slight toe. He got 2 extra kilometers an hour going down the straight compared to his previous lap time, but Verstappen running the slightly lower downforce swing and a slightly higher top speed rear wing as well. And he's 4 milliseconds behind Lewis Hamilton. This is going to be so close. 10 minutes remain of this qualifying session. Drivers now who have top 9 have put their driver laps in. Pierre Gasly goes into 9th place. Not a good lap from him. He's a second behind Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki Tsunoda really solid performance from him. His first race of the season, amazing performance. Now the final race of the season, once again, an amazing performance. Only 2/10 behind Lewis Hamilton, and Tsunoda's in an AlphaTauri, guys. Tsunoda is in an AlphaTauri and 2/10 behind. Wow. And then Norris is the closest other driver. He's half a second behind, and so is Sergio Perez. And Bottas did not give Hamilton a toe, because I can confirm that Bottas was behind Hamilton, so there's no way he could have given him a toe. So there we go. We have Hamilton on the mediums, Verstappen, Bottas, and Tsunoda on the mediums. So everyone on the mediums except for Stroll, Vettel, the 2 Alpines, 2 Ferraris, and Daniel Ricciardo. But yeah, both drivers on the medium tires, so we can expect these lap times to fall even more, really, because the gap between the mediums and the softs only 4/10 of a second. Well, 4/10 of a second, very big gap indeed. So these lap times, we may even get into the 1 minute 22s at this rate once the drivers switch onto the soft tires. But solid lap from both drivers, and we'll see if Perez needs to improve his game, really, because if he does need to help out Red Bull in the strategy battle tomorrow, or indeed if he does need to take out Lewis Hamilton, that's a joke. He's not going to take him out, but he's probably going to want to start higher up than sixth position, especially when Yuki Tsunoda's up in fourth place in the slower AlphaTauri. Red Bull are currently second in the Constructors' Championship. AlphaTauri are down in like sixth or seventh. So, yeah, Perez needs to get a move on, really. And, yeah, we'll see what he can do, though. 8 minutes remain of this qualifying session, and we'll see. Perez has been Tsunoda'd, and he is down in seventh place, and this will not be helped by the fact that all of the other drivers will be on the soft tires. Ocon, Alonso on the softs, so is Vettel. So once all of these drivers set their lap times on the softs, look at this, Leclerc is 17 milliseconds behind Hamilton and 13 milliseconds behind Verstappen, and then Sainz is currently on provisional pole. Wow. I do have to point out these guys are on the soft tires, so these guys aren't actually going to get pole position. But nevertheless, I mean, crazy as it is, Sainz in first, Hamilton second, Verstappen third, and Leclerc in fourth. These guys are on the softs, Hamilton, Verstappen on the mediums, of course. So these are the soft runners. Of course, they're going to go higher up than the mediums, but solid pace from these guys, and we'll have to wait and see what happens then. All right, so Perez is actually right on the cusp of the elimination zone. He's in 10th place. He loses one more position, and he's into the elimination zone. So we might see Perez actually start on the soft tires. And will Perez start the race on the soft tires and do a soft qualifying lap, because that was not a good lap from Sergio Perez, and he's going to want to improve that, otherwise he's going to be very much at risk of getting eliminated. And yeah, it's very much a smooth operator from Carlos Sainz. Max Verstappen has come over the radio and said massive flat spot, so it looks like Verstappen maybe made a mistake on his lap. I'm just gonna double check that, and if I'm also gonna get the team radios as well, because, well, we don't want to be missing out on these spicy team radios. But Verstappen going into turn number 1. Let's see what he did. Massive lockup from Max Verstappen at turn number 1. So he was going for a second lap, but he had a massive lockup and then obviously didn't continue. So that is why he is now in the pits. But also, guys, there's 4,000 of you watching, and I want all 4,000 of you tuning into tomorrow's stream. I have a video coming out tomorrow before the race start, and I also have the stream, of course. So I want all 4,000 of you tuning right in to enjoy probably the most historic Formula One race in history. Absolutely titanic battle between Hamilton and Verstappen, and they're 4 tenths apart, 4 milliseconds. Sorry, not 4 tenths. And yeah, Alpine have got L Plan on their rear wing, pretty hilarious, and they're definitely tuning in. Well, they're definitely just embracing the memes completely. But I'm going to go get the team radios, and I will be back in like 4 seconds. Right, I'm back. Epic. I think that was actually like 4 seconds. But tires remaining for Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton has 2 sets of soft tires remaining and 1 set of medium tires remaining and 1 set of hards as well. So there we go. It's pretty. So tomorrow's race, drivers probably will be going medium to hards, but it looks like it's going to be a 2-stop strategy in tomorrow's race. We'll wait and see what it actually does. What actually happens, we'll find out for tomorrow, because we'll get the official Pirelli numbers. But 6 minutes and 15 seconds remain. Oh no, 5 minutes remain of this session. We have team radio from Max Verstappen and Yuki Tsunoda, in fact. So I'm going to get all of these playing because I completely forgot about team radio. All right, here we go then. Verstappen's team radio first.
Flat spot. Massive.
Yep, so that was this flat spot that we were talking about. We have team radio from Carlos Sainz. He's currently in first place. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Currently P1. Was a very good lap, apart from that turn 9, perhaps.
Yeah, a bit more understeering than you thought.
Yeah, so Carlos Sainz had a mistake on his lap, had a load of understeer at turn number 9, and was still in first place. So that just shows you how much quicker those soft tyres are than the mediums. And we'll wait and see if the drivers can dip into the 1 minute 22s on their soft tyre laps. Yeah, the race is live on Channel 4 in the UK tomorrow. So if you guys are from the UK, the race is free on Channel 4 to watch if you have a TV and the Skybox and whatever they're called now. So you can go ahead and watch it on that because, of course, the actual images of the Formula 1 race is very, 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 very cool to watch. But 3 minutes remain of this session. We have Stroll and Vettel currently out on track. They'll be starting their flying laps, I think. Oh no, they'll be coming out. They're on their out laps right now, and it's Q2. Yeah, Q2. Whew. All right. Gasly is suffering from brake issues, and that's why he was a second slower than Tsunoda on his first lap. So Gasly hasn't just lost all of his pace; he has brake issues there. They're hopefully going to try and fix that. Ricciardo can't even match Lando Norris. Norris is on the mediums, Ricciardo's on the softs, and Ricciardo is still slower than Norris's teammate. So not ideal for Daniel Ricciardo. Hopefully his luck can change going into next year. But Ricciardo's on the soft and Norris is on the mediums. So not quick from Daniel Ricciardo whatsoever, really. But I'm just going to get you an image of what's happening at the circuit. The sun, as you can see, is right about to set. The sky is completely orange. So these final runs of Q3, track evolution is going to get stronger and stronger. And whoever sets their lap time last will obviously come out on top. All right, looking at the tyres, we have Bottas, Hamilton on the mediums, Tsunoda on the mediums as well, so is Gasly. Then Verstappen has come out on the soft, so he's looking like he is either scrubbing his soft tyres for Q3 or he is just trying to get a feel of what the car will be like in Q3. And we'll see if they... Because most likely what they're going to do, they're just going to pit at the end of the lap if Verstappen's going to make it through. Or maybe they're going to start on the soft tyres. Well, it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do. But there we go. And also, guys, there is a link in the description to F1 merch, and it's loads of stuff is on discount because it's the final race of 2021. They're going to get completely new merch for 2022. Loads of stuff on discount, so be sure to go check that out. And of course, the Kimi Raikkonen giveaway. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's F1_gamer_5, and each entry is a like. Well, each like is an entry, but anyway, we have a lot of traffic and a yellow flag on circuit. Hamilton with a purple first sector on the medium tyres. And we're back to green flag. So it looks like we've had a bit of an issue here. Loads of traffic, as you can see here. It looks like everyone's made it through safely, but there were a couple of yellow flags because drivers were driving way too slowly. And now Hamilton on his first lap... Oh, no, sorry, his first sector was purple. He's now just coming up to the second sector line. Let's see what he does in his second sector. Once again, Lewis Hamilton. Oh, he doesn't improve in the second sector because he's just backed off completely. So... Oh no, he hasn't backed off. He's just Hamilton wasn't that quick in the second sector, sorry. And then coming into the middle sector now, final sector, sorry. Oh my god, I'm messing this up quite a bit. All right. But Alonso and Ocon improved. Perez with the purple middle sector. So Perez finally got some more pace and a good lap from him. And then Hamilton crosses the line. He overtakes Sainz by 29 milliseconds. So nevertheless, very, very close at the front. Verstappen doesn't improve on the soft tyres. So pretty strange there. Verstappen couldn't improve on his soft tyres. Ocon and Alonso, the only two drivers with green first sectors. Everyone else didn't improve. So very, very strange there. It looks like there was so much traffic before Q2 began, before the final runs of Q2 began. No one could heat their tyres up properly. But saying that, Sergio Perez, 10 milliseconds quicker than Lewis Hamilton. Nevertheless, Perez is on the softs. Hamilton's on the mediums, so do have to remember that. But Perez finally did pick up the pace a bit. Verstappen still is in fourth place, sorry, but he'll probably pit at the end of this lap because there's no need for him to go to the end. Does Verstappen improve? No, he does not. Oh no, Verstappen does. Verstappen 3/10 quicker, and he's going to start the race on the soft tyres. Interesting. Right. So, Red Bull going for the alternate strategy, starting the race on the softs, whereas Mercedes will be starting the race on the mediums. Interesting indeed. And we have dipped into the 1 minute 22s as we are expecting. Verstappen's 1 minute 22 lap time on the softs was a 1 minute 22.8. So Hamilton, the mediums, we've been told by the engineers, 4/10 quicker. 4/10 quicker. The softs are 4/10 quicker than the mediums, and the gap between Hamilton and Verstappen is, if you adjust for the lap time difference because of the tires, it's going to be less than half a tenth. So, once again, going to be insane going into Q3, so you do not want to miss it. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that. And, yeah. Q2 is over. The elimination zone is Alonso, Gasly, Stroll, Giovinazzi, and Vettel. Unless someone can deny set a faster lap time, but everyone has set their lap time, so that is it. Drivers eliminated from Q2, we have Gasly, Stroll, Giovinazzi, Ocon, Gasly, Stroll, Giovinazzi, and Vettel. So the drivers have made it through, the 2 McLarens, then 2 Ferraris, 2 Red Bulls, 2 Mercedes, and then 1 AlphaTauri and 1 Alpine. But yeah, L plan didn't exactly work because Ocon has made it through and Alonso hasn't. But interesting to see what will happen into Q3 with Verstappen taking the alternate strategy, going to start the race on the softs. This is what we were expecting, really. So Mercedes Red Bull are saying that Red Bull think they're going to be slower than the Mercedes in terms of race pace. And so what they're doing is they're taking the alternate strategy, because if you're slower, you can't take the same strategy and then end up ahead of a different car, because that's just not going to happen, because if you're slower than them, you won't be able to make the overtake. So Red Bull are like, we're going to take the alternate strategy, do something different, and hopefully come out on top. And yeah. So this is it then. Q3, the top 10 shootout, the fight for pole position. Going into Q3, in the Q2 runs, we have Verstappen first, Perez second on the soft tyres, then we have Hamilton third on the mediums, and then Sainz and Leclerc fourth and fifth on the softs, and then Bottas in sixth place on the mediums once again. So Mercedes looking quick on the mediums. Let's see if their pace transfers over to the softs, and let's see if anyone can pull out a miracle lap to win, to get pole position. Let me know, our predictions, in fact. Look at this. Our drivers, Verstappen and Hamilton, once again, they are indistinguishable or inseparable, because our votes, 50% Verstappen's going to get pole position, 50% Lewis Hamilton is going to get pole position. It's 50-50. Yeah. Very, very close indeed. Gasly, his brakes, they couldn't fix the brakes in time, so he couldn't set another lap time, and that is why he is now eliminated. So that was unfortunate for him. He has been so consistent. I mean, he had loads of Q3 appearances this season, and he's basically most qualifying sessions, he either gets 4th, 5th, or 6th. This time, unfortunately, down in 12th place, but nevertheless, a solid season over round for Pierre Gasly. Just amazing performance from start to finish. And this is it then. Q3 will begin it'll begin in 1 minute now. Yeah, 1 minute. And we'll go racing. Not racing. Yeah, racing? No, qualifying. All right. What else is there to talk about then? Well, the drivers in the elimination zone, Alonso, not ideal for him, really, because he well, he's going to start in 11th place, so he'll have the free choice of tyres. That could help him out. Ocon made it through on the softs, of course, which might not be the correct race tyre. We'll see what happens, though. Gasly starting in 12th, not good for him. Vettel and Stroll, both Alfa Romeo, not Alfa Romeos, Aston Martins are out, so that's unfortunate for them. Neither of them could make it through into Q3. And then Giovinazzi in 14th place, so not a good job there. But we had yellow flags flashing in Q2 because there was just a massive traffic jam. Vettel stopped on track because he needed to build a gap. Like, there was just such big, there was so much carnage, and no one could heat up their tires. So that is why we have Alonso, who has been eliminated because he couldn't get to the checkered flag in time, and he was pretty angry about that. And then Vettel couldn't get enough tire temperature to set a proper qualifying lap, and that is, well, not been ideal really. But there we go. Yeah, qualifying 3 should begin in 2 minutes time now, or well, it's either 15 seconds or in another 2 minutes. But here we go then. Yes, guys, Channel 4 will be live tomorrow with the race, so be sure to go check that out and make sure you record the race, because it's going to be one heck of a race. So make sure to record that if you do have it on your TV, of course. Where do you think the track should be improved on? The track, I don't actually know. I think the circuit's all right. I mean, we haven't seen any racing around this new configuration, to be honest. So that's why I don't have much to say, really. We'll have to find out what happens in the race tomorrow, if overtakes can be made and if battles can be held for multiple laps without overheating issues. So the difference between the soft and the medium tires, the soft tires are quicker in terms of their raw performance, but they will wear out quicker. So you'll have to pit off those tires quicker. But the medium tires, they're slightly slower than the softs, around about half a second or 4/10 a second per lap, but they last for a longer time. So that's sort of the strategy battle that they have to play. And yeah, softs won't last long, especially because they're the softest tires of the entire Pirelli compound range. Sorry, they're the C5s, the softest that Pirelli have available for Formula One racing. But we'll see what happens there. All right, we are going into Q3 now, and we have drivers now just coming out on track. Perez is out on the softs, and Verstappen is as well. Perez ahead of Verstappen. Looks like someone is going to be getting a tow. Verstappen will get a bit of a tow off Sergio Perez. Both Mercedes yet to come out. And this is it then, the final Q3 session of 2021. 11 minutes remain, and we'll see who gets pole position then. All right. I'm going to get a drink because my TV is... My TV? My throat. I read TV in chat and then I said TV by accident. Right. Advit Singh has asked, where do you vote for driver of the day? You can only vote for driver of the day during the race, and it's like f1.com/vote or something. But here we go then. Everyone is out on soft tires. Daniel Ricciardo, the only driver out on a used set of soft tires. But this is it. Q3 is underway. Sergio Perez will be giving a slight tow to Max Verstappen coming down the straight. And this will be it then. So Bottas and Hamilton they are out on track as well. They've got their own little clean space. Hamilton looks like he might get a bit of a tow off Yuki Tsunoda because he is so close behind. And Hamilton, in fact, towing Bottas. So Bottas will not be the one giving the tow, whereas Perez might be. So quickest first sector for Sergio Perez by the looks of it. Quickest first sector, but that's quickly going to be taken away by Max Verstappen, who goes into 16.8, which is exactly what Lewis Hamilton did in the first sector. So we'll see what Hamilton can do on the soft tires, of course, because soft tires quicker overall. Tsunoda now pushing through the first sector, turn number 4 as well, flat out completely, just a little kink to the left. He sets a first sector time of 17.1. Hamilton now, this is the main thing we need to watch out for. Hamilton's first sector was 16.8, just 19 milliseconds quicker than Verstappen in the first sector. So first sector, 19 milliseconds apart is Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen, quickest middle sector. He overtakes Sergio Perez. Looks like Perez gave a bit of a toe to Max Verstappen because Perez made a mistake. Perez gave a toe to Max Verstappen. This is going to help out Max Verstappen incredibly, I think, because this first sector, I mean, yeah, 4/10 Verstappen got because of a toe. He was 4/10 quicker than Tsunoda in the first, than Norris, sorry, in the first sector because of the toe, and quicker than Hamilton by 2/10. And then here we go, Verstappen crosses the line 1 minute 22.1. Hamilton set a 1 minute 22.1, I think, on the softs. Well, we'll have to wait and see, but Norris goes 2/10 behind, 1.2 seconds behind him. So what a lap from Verstappen, 1.2 seconds quicker than the McLaren. We know the McLaren's been so quick all season round, and Hamilton 5/10 slower. 5/10 slower than Verstappen, and that was all down to the toe that Sergio Perez gave him. Going into sector number 2, if we look at the gap in between sector number 2 and between the two drivers, Verstappen is 2/10 quicker than Hamilton going down the second sector, and in the third sector he is 3/10 quicker. So actually, it wasn't all down to the toe. So looking back at it, it was only 2/10 that he got because of the toe, and then he got 3/10 on his own in the third sector. So we'll have to wait and see if Mercedes decide to employ the wingman strategy and get Bottas to give Hamilton a toe. Both drivers out on track though, and Hamilton is ahead of Bottas, so there's no way Bottas is giving Hamilton a toe. But Verstappen, last time Verstappen was on pole position in Abu Dhabi, he went on to win the race. Every single time Hamilton got pole position in Abu Dhabi, Hamilton went on to win the race. So the stats line up. Whoever gets pole position goes on to win the race. For these two drivers, Sergio Perez, he puts his Red Bull into third place, 9/10 of a second behind Max Verstappen, nearly 1 full second between Verstappen and Hamilton. And I mean, wow, just absolutely crazy. So this is it then, the final qualifying session of Q2 of 2021, the final qualifying session of Q2. I'm actually, I'm really kind of sort of going to lose it because half a second, we were not expecting this. Verstappen has pulled this right out of the bag like he did in Saudi Arabia. Just pace coming out of nowhere. So, absolutely crazy indeed. We'll see what happens though, because on the race start, we do have to remember on tomorrow's race, Verstappen starting on the softs, Hamilton on the mediums. So that'll be interesting to see if the strategy maybe helps out Hamilton, or if Verstappen can pull away on the softs and even maintain tyre performance even after 10-20 laps. But this is it now. 5 minutes remain of this session, and we have Verstappen in first by half a second. Oh, I'm just going to check the top speed comparison. All right, that's a good point. Jarno Trulli, 849. The top speeds are Max Verstappen on a 327 kilometer per hour top speed, and Lewis Hamilton a 322 kilometer per hour top speed. So only 5 kilometers between the two drivers. Sorry. So yeah, 5 kilometers between the two drivers in terms of top speed. So it wasn't even that big of a toe, because usually when you do get a toe, you get maybe 10-15 kilometers an hour of speed. So it was only 5. It wasn't that much of a toe from Sergio Perez, because the third sector, if you get a toe in the third sector, it's not a toe, it's dirty air, and that slows you down. And Verstappen was 3/10 quicker than Hamilton in the third sector. So 2/10 he got because of the toe, 3/10 he got because of pure skill. And that is, well, great lap indeed from Max Verstappen. And the VTEC definitely from Red Bull helping them out. All right, then. Yuki Tsunoda got his lap time deleted now he's back down into 10th place. He'll have to set another lap time. But 4 minutes remain of this session, and we'll find out what happens then. Yeah, Honda going full send. This is Honda's last race in Formula One, to be clear, because they are completely cutting off their Formula One endeavor. They're just stopping because they want to go eco-friendly and make like electric and hybrid engines kind of stuff. So they're not pursuing Formula One. So this is Honda's final race of the season and final qualifying session. So they're turning the engine all the way up into 11. We've got a replay here. We've got a replay. Hamilton locked up in the first sector. In the second sector. So that's why the gap between Hamilton and Verstappen was 0.2 of a second. So that's interesting to see there. Hamilton made a lockup, and that is why he has lost some time. Interesting. All right, Red Bull will be developing their own engines. So yeah, Red Bull are going to buy out Honda's factory. And then after they've bought the factories, they're going to just hire the same people, but it won't be under Honda's name. It'll be Red Bull. What engine do you think Red Bull will use? Red Bull will do the same. Red Bull will be using like Red Bull engines. They won't be using Honda engines, but they'll be the same engines basically because, yeah, as I said, Red Bull will buy the Honda F1 department, and then they're just going to use that. All right. So this is it then. Also, guys, 4,500 people of you watching. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that. We'll be commentating now the final runs of Q3 in just a second. But if you haven't, there is a giveaway running for Kimi Raikkonen merch. That is... You got to follow on Instagram and Twitter, F1_gamer_5. You win. There's a possibility of winning 10 Kimi Raikkonen caps for all of the fans in total. And check out code 0racing.com. That's where all of the Alfa Romeo merch is, and it's Kimi Raikkonen. We have limited edition t-shirts for Kimi Raikkonen. But here we go now. Final runs of Q3. 2 minutes remain of this session. Hamilton and Bottas both start their flying laps. Crucially, Hamilton is ahead of Bottas. So this means Hamilton will not get a tow from anyone. Verstappen is the last driver to cross the line. So, is the third to last driver to cross the line. Which will mean he will have better track conditions compared to Lewis Hamilton because the track will be slightly cooler and slightly more rubbered in. And Verstappen did not get a tow from Sergio Perez, I can confirm, because Perez was way too far ahead to give him a tow. But nevertheless, we had now the final runs of Q3, and Hamilton does not improve in the first sector. He's backed off in the first sector, and this is what we were talking about. Because if you back off a tiny bit in the first sector, you can push a lot harder in the third sector, and this is what Hamilton plans to do now. Going down into the second sector, braking for the turn 6-7 chicane, makes it through with a very nice exit indeed. Then coming on to the next straight, into turn number 9, the banked turn number 9, new corner for this circuit. And we'll find out what happens there. But his Hamilton second sector is only green. He does not go purple in the second sector. And in fact, slower than Verstappen's second sector time. So this is it now. The final third sector, Hamilton has to nail this sector. Otherwise, there is no chance for him to be on pole position. And that will be pole position sealed for Max Verstappen unless Bottas or Perez can deny him. But Bottas doesn't improve in the first sector either, goes slightly harder in the second sector, green per second sector, but Hamilton now crosses the line and he is in second place. Hamilton does not improve. Hamilton will not get pole position for this qualifying session. Bottas crosses the line, stays in fourth place. Next to cross the line is Tsunoda. He's into 6th. Ocon is next. He's in 9th place currently. Can he put himself higher up in the field? He puts himself up into 8th. Slight improvement there. Ricciardo in 10th. He crosses the line now into 10th place for him. He does not improve. Norris now, he is into 3rd place. What a lap from Lando Norris. Perez next to cross the line. He's still in 4th. Verstappen now, does he extend his advantage? No, he does not. Verstappen does not extend his advantage. Looks like Verstappen just backed off. There was no need for him to push. And this is it. So Max Verstappen is on pole position. What a lap. And I mean, this was not down to the fact that Sergio Perez gave him a tow, because he was only quicker in the middle sector because Hamilton locked up in the middle sector, and that's why Verstappen was quicker in the middle sector. And in the third sector is purely down to Verstappen's pace and skill. He made that Red Bull 3/10 quicker than the Mercedes. The Mercedes were looking so fast on the low fuel runs. And then here we have Max Verstappen on pole position. What a lap. If you have enjoyed the stream, be sure to hit the like button. And also, guys, there's 4,800 of you watching, all of you tuning in for tomorrow's stream. I am streaming tomorrow, of course, for the race. There's going to be an hour build-up, and I have a video coming out of the entire, a story of the entire championship, all the way from pre-season testing, guys. Pre-season testing to this qualifying session. The entire build-up, so you do not want to miss that. So make sure you subscribe, got the notification bell on, and that video is coming out tomorrow morning before the race starts. But what a solid lap from Max Verstappen. So our qualifying positions are Verstappen first, Hamilton second, Norris in P3, Sergio Perez in fourth, Carlos Sainz in fifth, Bottas in sixth, Leclerc in seventh, and then Tsunoda 8th, Ocon 9th, and Ricciardo 10th. Valtteri Bottas in 6th place. That is not ideal whatsoever, especially because at the front we're going to have a strategy battle, and you can do a lot better strategy stuff when you have two drivers at the front rather than just one. Perez is in 4th place. He should probably be up in 3rd, but nevertheless, he could make the overtake on Lando Norris at the race start. Another thing to point out, guys, that Red Bulls were quicker. Red Bulls are going to be starting the soft tyres tomorrow, so the soft tyres are definitely going to help him out on the race start. So if it does go Verstappen's way, the race start, he'll start on the softs and have the lead coming out of turn 1, and we'll see there. I mean, the Red Bulls are 6 kilometers an hour quicker than Mercedes going down the straight. 6 kilometers an hour is basically nothing in F1 terms. And especially that's right at the end of the straight. So 6 kilometers an hour, not a big deal. And 3/10, that's in the third sector. So the third sector is, I mean, it's just corners, and there's no top speed there. So solid lap there from Max Verstappen. And guys, once again, there is links in the description to F1 merch for every single F1 driver. There's loads of stuff on discount because it's the end of the 2021 season, and they're all trying to get rid of all of their merch. And of course, the Alfa Romeo merch, that is very, very good quality indeed. They've sent it over to me, in fact. So code0racing.com. Be sure to go check that out. But tomorrow will be an end of an era with Kimi Raikkonen retiring, and it will be the start of, well, it will be the most historic Formula 1 race in modern history. So we'll wait. We'll have to wait and see for that. And I have an hour's build up, guys, an hour's build up. So be sure to just go over to my stream for tomorrow's. Go over to tomorrow's stream and press that set reminder button, because you do not want to be missing that. But Verstappen, very pleased indeed now, just going and hugging all of his teammates and celebrating that pole position. And it's going to be an absolute blast tomorrow's race. I mean, just going to be so crazy indeed. I cannot wait. And yeah, why did Bottas not tow Hamilton? That is an interesting question. I mean, maybe they should have done that. Maybe Bottas should have. Bottas is down in 6th place anyway, so maybe they should have just told Bottas, screw it, and just give Hamilton a massive tow going down the 1.1 kilometer straight. And that straight in Abu Dhabi, the second straight, so the first straight in the second sector, that is the second longest straight in Formula 1. So yeah, a tow is definitely going to help down there, isn't it? But solid lap from Max Verstappen, and tomorrow's stream will be as exciting as ever. So make sure to tune in, because most historic race in Formula 1 history, cannot wait. It's going to be very intense. Verstappen, Hamilton starting alongside each other. I think this is the 9th time in the season where Hamilton and Verstappen starting on the front row of the grid. Both drivers tied on points going into this qualifying session, and they're both starting on the front row in tomorrow's race. And wow, just, yeah, Red Bull were sandbagging. Yeah, definitely. I mean, Red Bull were like, their pace in FP3 was just so far behind, and in FP1, FP2, but Verstappen just pulled it out the bag. Solid third sector, which is all driver based really, because it's all corners. And well, just what a lap. Last time this happened was in 1974. Yep, it was Gilles Villeneuve and Clay Reganazzi were the two drivers tied on points in 1974. And once again, we have these two drivers tied on points going into this race. How many poles is it for Max? I think this is how Max's like 10th pole position. I'm not exactly sure, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, there we go. And hopefully they won't crash tomorrow. I mean, Verstappen will have the advantage. He'll be on the soft tires. Verstappen will be, and Hamilton will be on the mediums. So he'll have the edge on the race start, and he will also have the better grip coming in the first lap. So if there is going to be a battle between, oh no, it's Fittipaldi. Sorry, yeah, it was Fittipaldi. I've written this down, but I just didn't read it because I thought I remembered correctly. But it was Fittipaldi and Reganazzi, yeah, and it was Schumacher and Villeneuve in 1997 that were separated by 1 point. Yeah. All right. So that is that. That is today's qualifying session. Be sure to tune into tomorrow's stream because, I mean, it's going to be so epic. I'm going to have dramatic music prepared because, well, in fact, I've already got the dramatic music prepared. So, yeah, make sure to tune in because this is going to be one heck of a ride tomorrow. And also make sure to have some popcorn as well because I just cannot wait. Hamilton, Verstappen on the front row of the grid, starting alongside each other. I mean, wow. Right then, I will see you guys tomorrow. So, have a lovely morning, afternoon, day, night, or evening, depending on where you are in the world. And make sure to tune in for tomorrow's stream. And make sure to watch out for that video as well. It's a very good video. I mean, it's the most effort I've ever put into a video in the entirety of YouTube, really. So it's going to be a pretty nice video. So make sure to tune in for that. And I will see you tomorrow. Cheers, fellas.